What if a handful of quiet, centuries-old practices could dissolve the noise of modern life and re-anchor you to a deeper sense of purpose? Imagine greeting each sunrise with the calm of a Zen garden and ending each day with the quiet confidence of a samurai. If you feel the pull of a calmer existence, give this video a gentle like. It signals the mind to stay present. For centuries, the Japanese way of living has been a living textbook of auto-discipline, resilience, and inner virtue. Today, we will explore 7 modest habits, each rooted in Shoshin, the beginner's mind, and the ancient principle of eudaimonia, that quietly reshape the architecture of our daily lives. We will travel from the first light of morning, through the disciplined rhythm of the day, to the reflective twilight of evening. In each pause, you will discover a practice you can adopt immediately. Let us begin with the foundations that awaken presence the moment the sun kisses the horizon. First, we anchor ourselves in the present, for without a firm footing, the mind wanders like a leaf in a storm, the habit of mindful sunrise. In many Japanese households, the day does not begin with a frantic alarm, but with a gentle observation of the dawn. The ritual is simple. Rise, stand by a window, and watch the light unfurl across the sky, breathing in rhythm with the changing hues. This practice is not merely aesthetic. It trains the nervous system to transition from the subconscious pull of sleep to the conscious flow of waking with deliberate intention. The philosopher Kiyoshi Miki once described the sunrise as a silent sermon on impermanence. By witnessing the fleeting colors, you internalize the truth that each moment is unique and will not return. In modern terms, this is a natural reset for the brain's default mode network, reducing rumination and setting a tone of calm focus for the hours ahead. Consider the habit of the tea break pause, known as kyusu. It is not a hurried sip of caffeine, but a ceremony of presence. A small teapot is heated, water is boiled, and the leaves are measured with care. The act of preparing tea becomes a meditation on precision, patience, and gratitude. Each movement is performed with awareness. The sound of the kettle, the steam rising, the aroma of the leaf unfurling. This mindfulness extends beyond the cup. It trains the mind to attend fully to any task, no matter how mundane. Studies on mindfulness have shown that such brief, structured pauses improve emotional regulation and increase the capacity for sustained attention. Now, let us turn to the discipline of purposeful decluttering, or danshari. In Japanese culture, the act of letting go of excess is not merely a physical cleaning, but a spiritual purification. The process begins with a simple question: does this item serve a purpose, bring joy, or teach me something? If the answer is none, it is released. This habit cultivates a mental environment free of unnecessary distractions, allowing clarity to emerge. The philosopher Seneca taught that the mind, like the body, must be kept free of superfluous weight. By applying this principle daily, you create space for what truly matters: relationships, aspirations, and inner growth. Another cornerstone is the practice of intentional walking, or michi no michi. In Japan, even the act of moving from one place to another, is performed with reverence. One walks slowly, feeling each step, the texture of the ground, the cadence of breath. This is not a hurried commute, but a moving meditation that grounds the body in the present. The rhythmic footfall aligns with the heart's beat, fostering a sense of unity between mind and body. Research on walking meditation indicates reductions in stress hormones and improvements in mood stability. At this point, you might wonder how these seemingly modest habits fit into the tapestry of a modern, hectic schedule. The answer lies in their cumulative effect. Each practice, though brief, reinforces a neural pathway of presence, discipline, and gratitude. Together, they form a scaffold that steadies the mind against the relentless tide of distraction. What do you think about integrating such moments into your day? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about your perspective. Moving deeper into the day, we encounter the habit of focused work intervals, inspired by the Japanese concept of Ikigai. The principle encourages aligning one's tasks with a sense of purpose, turning work into an expression of one's deeper calling. In practice, this means segmenting work into blocks of concentrated effort, each preceded by a brief ritual of setting intention. One might light a small incense stick, place a single flower on the desk, and state aloud the purpose of the upcoming task. This ritual signals to the brain that the time is sacred, sharpening focus and reducing the temptation of multitasking. Equally important is the habit of reflective journaling, or Nikki. At the close of each day, a few minutes are devoted to writing down observations, emotions, and lessons learned. The act of externalizing thoughts provides a mirror for the inner self, revealing patterns that might otherwise remain hidden. In the tradition of the samurai, this practice was called the mirror of the heart, used to cultivate self-awareness and moral fortitude. Modern psychological research confirms that journaling improves emotional processing and enhances problem-solving abilities. Finally, we arrive at the evening ritual of gratitude, known as kansha. Before sleep, one reflects on 3 moments of the day that sparked gratitude, no matter how small: a shared smile, a completed task, the taste of a simple meal. This habit trains the mind to seek positivity, counteracting the brain's natural bias toward negativity. Over time, the habit rewires neural pathways, fostering a baseline of contentment that persists even in challenging circumstances. These practices, though humble, are powerful precisely because they are unassuming. They do not demand grand gestures, only a willingness to pause, observe, and act with intention. By weaving them into the fabric of your daily routine, you invite a quiet transformation that resonates far beyond the moment of practice. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. The journey toward a more centered life is just beginning. Now, let us turn our attention to the rhythm of the morning, to the subtle ceremony that awakens the body before the mind has even begun to stir. In many Japanese households, the day commences with a simple yet profound act, the ritual of sipping water, known as mizu no kokoro. The practice is not merely about hydration. It is an invitation to greet the world with a clear and steady breath. As the first light filters through shoji screens, one stands, palms cupped, and draws a glass of cool, clear water from the kitchen. Before the first sip, the breath is drawn deep, filling the lungs as if inviting the sunrise itself inside. The water, cool against the tongue, carries with it the quiet intention of cleansing the inner currents that have been stirred by the night's dreams. This pause, lasting perhaps a minute or two, resets the nervous system, signals the parasympathetic branch, and grounds the practitioner in the present moment. Scientific studies on the vagus nerve have shown that such mindful drinking can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, and improve focus for the tasks that lie ahead. In the same way a samurai would sharpen his sword before battle, the simple act of mindful water prepares the mind for the day's challenges, allowing each subsequent action to be performed with intention rather than reaction. Consider, too, the habit of mindful movement that follows the water ritual. The practice of simply stretching the limbs while breathing in harmony with the rising sun. In the ancient tradition of Radio Taiso, the body is guided through gentle, flowing motions that mirror the natural world. Each stretch is synchronized with an inhalation, each release with an exhalation, creating a seamless dialogue between breath and flesh. The movements are unhurried, each one held for a count that feels like the passing of a quiet breath, perhaps 3 to 5 seconds, allowing the muscles to awaken without strain. This practice, though modest, cultivates proprioception, the sense of where the body resides in space, and nurtures a deep-seated awareness that later translates into steadier decision-making and reduced impulsivity. The philosophy behind it is rooted in the principle of machine, the mind without disturbance, a state where the practitioner can act without the clutter of unnecessary thought. Having anchored the morning with water and movement, we now journey to the heart of the day, where the practice of Moteinai offers a lesson in reverence for resources. The word Moteinai carries a weight that transcends mere waste avoidance. It embodies a profound gratitude for the effort embedded in every object, every morsel, every moment. When one discards a torn piece of fabric, a wilted leaf, or a half-finished dish, the mind is reminded of the interconnected chain of labor, intention, and purpose that gave rise to that item. By internalizing Moteinai, we cultivate a mindset that treats every resource as an extension of ourselves, encouraging responsible consumption and fostering humility. In practical terms, the habit manifests as small, deliberate actions, repairing a cracked ceramic cup with kintsugi, the art of repairing with gold, thereby turning the floor into a celebrated line of beauty. Composting kitchen scraps, allowing the cycle of life to continue, or simply pausing before reaching for a disposable item, asking, "Do I truly need this?" The repetition of these micro decisions rewires neural pathways associated with instant gratification, replacing them with a slower, more reflective appraisal of value. Over time, this practice not only reduces environmental impact, but also nurtures an inner economy of appreciation where the mind learns to find richness in sufficiency rather than excess. As the afternoon wanes and the shadows lengthen, another habit beckons. Shinrin Yoku, the practice of forest bathing. Unlike a brisk hike that aims for cardio peaks, Shinrin Yoku is an invitation to immerse oneself wholly in the ambience of the woods. One steps onto a carpet of moss, feels the cool earth beneath the soles, and allows the scent of pine and damp leaf litter to fill the lungs. The experience is not measured in steps or distance, but in depth of presence. Each inhalation draws in phytoncides, natural compounds released by trees, which have been shown to lower blood pressure, boost natural killer cell activity, and elevate mood. Yet the true alchemy lies in the rhythmic cadence of rustling leaves, the gentle play of light through branches, and the subtle chorus of birdsong. By surrendering to these sensations, the mind slips into a state of quietude that modern life rarely affords. The practice teaches the lesson that stillness does not equate to inactivity. Rather, it is an active engagement with the environment, a dialogue where the body listens as much as it observes. In the context of daily life, one can adopt a micro version of Shinrin Yoku, a brief walk to a nearby park, a moment spent under a tree during a lunch break, or simply opening a window to feel the breeze. Each encounter reinforces the body's innate capacity to heal through nature, reminding us that balance is restored not through force, but through gentle communion. When the evening draws near, the habit of Hara Hachi Bu invites us to cultivate moderation at the dinner table. The phrase, which translates to "eat until 80% full," is a cornerstone of the Okinawan tradition of longevity. Rather than a strict calorie count, Hara Hachibu is a mindful cue to listen to the body's satiety signals, to stop before the stomach feels stretched. The practice is cultivated by chewing each bite thoroughly, savoring flavors and pausing between mouthfuls to assess hunger. By honoring this internal gauge, one reduces the risk of overindulgence, promotes efficient digestion, and maintains metabolic balance. Modern research aligns with this wisdom, indicating that caloric restriction, when practiced without malnutrition, can extend cellular health and delay age-related decline. Yet the true power of Hara Hachibu lies not in the numbers, but in the respect it teaches for the body's wisdom. Each meal becomes a meditation, a moment to express gratitude for the nourishment received and to reinforce the partnership between mind and physique. Over time, this habit fosters a relationship with food that is grounded in appreciation rather than compulsion, supporting both physical vitality and emotional equilibrium. Now that we have traversed the spectrum from dawn's quiet water to night's gentle gratitude, let us pause and reflect on the tapestry these habits have woven. Each practice, though simple on the surface, serves as a thread that, when interlaced, forms a resilient fabric of presence, purpose, and peace. The morning rituals awaken the senses, the midday disciplines nurture respect for the world, and the evening ceremonies close the day with reflection and gratitude. Together they compose a rhythm that mirrors the natural cycles of the seasons, inviting us to move with the flow rather than against it. What resonates most with you in this journey. Perhaps the idea of mindful water sparked a memory of a quiet moment you once treasured. Or maybe the concept of forest bathing awakens a longing for green spaces you have yet to explore. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below, to tell me which habit you feel drawn to integrate into your own life. Your reflections not only deepen your own understanding, but also enrich the community of seekers who are walking this path together. If the ideas we have explored have kindled a sense of possibility within you, consider extending this conversation beyond the screen. A gentle like signals to the mind that you are present, and a subscription offers a quiet promise that future insights will arrive when you are ready to receive them. There is no pressure, only an invitation to stay connected with the steady pulse of mindful living. Before we part, let us revisit each of the 7 practices, allowing their essence to settle once more. First, the mindful water ritual that clears the mind at sunrise. Second, the deliberate stretching that aligns breath with movement, fostering mushin. Third, the principle of motenai, a reverence for all that is given and received. Fourth, the discipline of Ikigai, aligning daily tasks with a deeper purpose. Fifth, the reflective journaling, the mirror of the heart that reveals hidden patterns. Sixth, the gratitude ritual, kansha, that rewires the brain toward positivity. Seventh, the forest bathing that restores balance through nature's quiet voice. And finally, the evening practice of hara hachibu, a reminder that moderation is a form of respect for the body's wisdom. Each of these habits stands alone as a beacon, yet together they form a constellation that can guide you through the turbulence of modern existence. By adopting even one, you set in motion a cascade of subtle shifts that, over weeks and months, become the foundation of a more centered, resilient self. The true power lies not in grand gestures, but in the consistency of small, intentional actions, each like a stone placed carefully in a Zen garden, shaping the flow of sand, defining the space and creating harmony. As you move forward, remember that transformation is a patient process. The mind, like a pond, may at first appear still, but beneath the surface lies the potential for ripples. With each habit you practice, you drop a pebble, and the ripples expand outward, touching aspects of life you may not yet see. Allow yourself the grace to be imperfect, to stumble, and to return to the practice with renewed curiosity. In the words of the ancient poet, the bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. Flexibility, cultivated through these habits, becomes the silent strength that carries you through the inevitable seasons of change. Take a moment now, as the day draws to a close, to breathe deeply, to feel the weight of your breath, and to acknowledge the path you have begun to walk. Let the quiet confidence of a samurai settle within you, not as a mask of stoic detachment, but as a calm assurance that each step, however modest, is purposeful. In the stillness, you will hear the subtle echo of these practices inviting you to return, day after day, to the sanctuary of mindful living. May this journey inspire you to cultivate the garden of your inner world with patience, reverence, and gentle intention. Until our next exploration, walk lightly, breathe fully, and let the quiet habits you embrace become the steady drumbeat of a life lived with depth and grace. Now, as the evening shadows lengthen and the world quiets, let us linger a moment longer in this shared space of contemplation. In the hush of twilight, the mind often drifts toward the day's unanswered questions, the tasks left unfinished, the promises made to ourselves that feel as fragile as a paper crane caught in a gust. It is precisely in these moments of soft stillness that the practices we have uncovered reveal their deepest potency. Consider, for a heartbeat, the habit of Ikigai, the quiet search for purpose that does not roar like a battle cry, but whispers gently, like the rustle of bamboo leaves in a gentle wind. When you pause each morning to ask, what is the thread that weaves my actions into meaning today? You plant a seed of intention that will, over time, unfurl into a resilient vine that climbs the walls of your daily existence. This seed does not demand grand gestures. It simply asks for honesty, for a willingness to notice the small moments that bring a smile, a sense of contribution, a feeling of belonging. In the same vein, the practice of Shizen, the embrace of natural simplicity, invites you to strip away the excess that clutters both physical space and inner perception. Imagine a kitchen counter cleared of unnecessary gadgets, a desk free of stray papers, a mind uncluttered by the endless scroll of digital noise. When you deliberately choose to keep only what serves a purpose, you create room for the breath to travel farther, for thoughts to settle like sediment in clear water. This simplicity is not an austerity imposed from without. It is an invitation to honor the elegance of what already exists within you. When the day stretches into night, the ritual of Yugen, the appreciation of mystery and subtle beauty, offers a doorway to a deeper sense of wonder. It is the practice of pausing before a candle flame, of listening to the distant call of a nightingale, of recognizing the impermanence of a fleeting cloud. In those pauses, you train the mind to linger in the space between perception and judgment, cultivating a reverence for the unknown. This reverence, in turn, softens the harsh edges of anxiety, allowing you to sit with uncertainty without the need to dominate it. The habit of kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold, provides a powerful metaphor for resilience. When a vase cracks, the master artisan does not hide the fissure. Instead, they highlight it, turning the scar into a luminous seam that tells a story of survival. In your own life, each setback, each misstep can be approached with the same mindful care. Rather than discarding what is broken, you can mend it with compassion, allowing the gold of experience to flow through the cracks, weaving a tapestry of strength that is visible to the eye and felt by the heart. We have also spoken of motenai, the deep respect for resources and the awareness that wastefulness is a loss not only of material but of potential. When you take a moment to consider the journey of the rice grain from field to bowl, you awaken a gratitude that transforms a simple act of eating into a meditation on interconnectedness. This gratitude ripples outward, influencing how you treat your time, your energy, your relationships, turning each interaction into an act of mindful stewardship, the rhythmic practice of Kaizen, the pursuit of continuous, incremental improvement, reminds us that transformation is not a sudden thunderclap, but a gentle sunrise. Each small adjustment, a breath taken a fraction longer, a step taken a fraction slower, a thought reframed a fraction kinder, adds up over days, weeks, months, to a profound shift in the landscape of your being. The key is consistency, the quiet dedication to showing up each day, even when the results are invisible to the naked eye. Finally, the habit of hara hachibu, the principle of eating until you are 80% full, teaches the body to listen to its own signals of satiety, fostering a relationship of trust between mind and flesh. By honoring this subtle cue, you nurture a sense of balance that extends beyond the dining table, influencing how you approach work, rest, and play. The body, when respected, becomes a reliable ally, a compass that points towards sustainable well-being. As you reflect upon these practices, notice how they intersect, how each one supports the others, forming a lattice of quiet strength. The garden you tend is not composed of isolated stones, but of pathways that weave together, inviting you to walk mindfully, to pause, to breathe, to observe. In this garden, the act of watering a single plant is as meaningful as the act of pruning a branch, and both contribute to the harmony of the whole. Let us now turn our attention inward, to the breath that has carried you through this journey. Inhale slowly, feeling the cool air enter the nostrils, traveling down the throat, filling the lungs, expanding the chest. Hold for a moment, allowing the breath to settle like dew on a leaf. Exhale gently, releasing tension, releasing doubt, letting go of the weight that has accumulated unnoticed. As you repeat this simple rhythm, you anchor yourself in the present, the very foundation upon which all the habits we have discussed rest. If you have found resonance with any of these quiet practices, I invite you to share your reflections in the comments below. Which habit sparked a flicker of curiosity? Which image lingered in your mind like a lingering scent after a rain? Your insights not only deepen your own understanding, but also create a shared space of learning for others who walk a similar path. Remember, the journey of transformation is not a race to a distant finish line, but a pilgrimage through ever-changing terrain. There will be days when the mind feels like a still pond, reflecting the sky with perfect clarity. And there will be days when the surface is rippled by wind, clouds of doubt, and the occasional storm of emotion. Both states are natural, both are instructive. When the water is calm, cherish the peace. When the water churns, observe the patterns, learn the currents, and trust that the next breath will bring a new stillness. In the spirit of humility and gratitude, I offer a final invitation. Consider setting a modest intention for the coming week. Perhaps you will begin each morning with a brief moment of Ikigai, or perhaps you will close each evening with a quiet acknowledgement of Yugen. Choose one practice, allow it to settle into the rhythm of your days, and notice the subtle shift it brings. Over time, you may find that this single seed sprouts into a grove of mindful habits, each reinforcing the other, each nourishing the soil of your inner landscape. If the gentle cadence of these teachings has spoken to you, consider supporting this channel by subscribing. A simple click not only signals your desire to continue this shared exploration, but also helps to create a community of seekers who value depth over distraction. Likewise, a modest like is a quiet affirmation that the content resonated, a small ripple that encourages the creator to keep cultivating thoughtful material. As the night deepens and the stars emerge one by one, imagine them as ancient lanterns guiding travelers across a timeless sea. Let their steady glow remind you that even in the darkest hours, there is light. Soft, patient, unwavering. Carry this light within. Let it illuminate the path you walk, and trust that each step, however modest, contributes to a larger tapestry woven by intention and presence. May the habits we have explored become the quiet companions that walk beside you, offering steadiness when the world sways, clarity when the mind clouds, and peace when the heart races. May you find in each breath the echo of centuries of wisdom, and may that echo reverberate through the corridors of your daily life, shaping a future that feels both grounded and expansive. Until we meet again, remain gentle with yourself, remain curious about the world, and allow the quiet rhythms of Japanese practice to guide you toward a life lived with purpose, serenity, and subtle power. Thank you for sharing this time, for allowing these ideas to settle within you, and for being part of this ongoing journey toward mindful living. Walk lightly, breathe fully, and may the garden of your inner world continue to flourish. Remember each habit as a stone placed on a path. The way appears only as you keep walking. When the morning mist lifts, ask which quiet practice you will invite into today's rhythm. Share in the comments the habit that resonates,